You know, it's interesting what you mentioned. It's like it's for them to have that aha moment that you know what, I'm not in a so much of a negative space after all. There are some good things that I've done, and be able to just identify that for the person. It makes I could see where she could feel better, she could feel lighter and more encouraged to keep whatever that journey is that she's going through to keep moving forward. So that is helpful for someone else like you to be able to just say, wait a minute, it's not all bad. There are some blessings upon all these different challenges that's happening. So that is quite helpful. Now tell me, now all of this is interesting that you've gone, you have. It sounds like with empathy and listening. I may have to call you after this and get some coaching sessions because it sounds like you're a great listener. So I wanted to find out a little bit more of how did you get to this space of wanting to be a coach? Like how did you get here? How did this become part of your journey in life and naturally business?
Well, it actually started a long, long time ago. It actually started when I was born. I was born with something called cerebral palsy. And if your viewers don't know what that is, it happens at labor. There's lack of oxygen to the brain that it can cause
Hmm.
paralyzation to one side of the body, poor motor skills, and it actually could affect your speech. Well, apparently the doctor thought it was so severe that he told my mom that I would never be able to walk and that I should be getting used to being in a wheelchair. Well, thank
Hmm.
goodness for a great mom. She didn't just take that diagnosis and go with it. She got a second, third, fourth, fifth opinion, finally found somebody that was willing to help me. And that was my journey for the first 10 years of my life of intense physical therapy. And I remember I had my first break when I was 3. I was able to walk. I don't really remember that because I was 3, but I consider that a feather in my cap. I was able to walk. I defied the doctor right there that I was able to walk. I do remember being 5 and being put in soccer and only being able to run 25 to 50 yards when all these other kids are running laps. And I'm thinking to myself, so defeated. I'm like, why can't I just be one of these kids? Why can't I be able to run? And
Hmm.
having my dad tell the coach, my boy, he can only run 20 to 50 yards, left post and back. I did get my second break, though, when I was 7. I got surgery on my right foot to give me a little bit more mobility and a little bit more spring in my step. And I switched schools around that same time. And I remember my first day of PE, physical education, we were doing our stretches and the teacher told us, okay, now take the lap. And I'm thinking to myself, here we go again. I'm only running 25 to 50 yards and these kids are going to start teasing me because I'm not like these other kids. But because of my surgery, I never tested it out yet. I started running with these kids and I went past the point where I normally have to stop because of the pain. And I kept going and I'm saying to myself, come on, Paul, you got this, buddy. Keep going, buddy. And I was able to do the lap with these other kids. And on the outside, I kept it cool. But on the inside, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Finally, the first time in my life, I fit in with these other kids. And I would say that things got, easier, but they weren't easy. I changed schools again when I was in junior high. And being a new kid in junior high with no disability is very, very tough. But having a disability and being a new kid, oh, man, it was brutal. I got bullied, teased pretty much every single day. I mean, I would come in my room and cry going, why me? Why do I have to be different than these other kids? Why can't I
Hmm.
just be one of the regular kids here? And I remember midway through my 8th grade, and this is where the awareness came in, I didn't want to be sad and angry anymore. I was sick
Hmm.
of feeling these feelings all the time. It was just overwhelming. It was just enough's enough. And I thought to myself, what could I do to change these feelings? And I thought, well, what if I focused in on something that would distract me from all this, bullying and teasing stuff? And I thought to myself, well, what if I made a goal for myself? So I made a goal to make my varsity baseball team in high school.
Nice.
So I practiced fall, winter, spring ball. And if I wasn't doing that, I was throwing a tennis ball against the wall. I was doing that over and over and over again. And the great thing about this, when I started changing my mindset about myself and setting this goal and really focusing in on this passion, the
Hmm.
other kids started changing their mindset about me. They saw this change in me. And they, instead of bullying me, they started rooting for me. And I'm thankful to
Wow.
say that I was able to make my varsity baseball team as a junior and senior.
Whoa.
wasn't a very good student, through this time because I was so focused on the baseball. And I remember the principal telling my mom that I wasn't college material, and and that stuck with me. I mean, I thought to myself, the principal to say that, why wouldn't they want to root for me? Why wouldn't they want to pick me up? So after baseball was over, I went to a junior college, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get through school because this principal thought I was no good. I was stupid or something. I don't know what she thought, and then I was able to graduate with a 3.5 GPA, graduated, felt really good about myself. And then at that time, being 22, 23 years old, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Like most 22, 23-year-old people, they don't know what they want. They have no life experience. So I got in the mortgage industry, and I did that for a long time, and I was really successful at it, and I liked it for a while. Then 2008, 2009 hit, and the economy just changed. And the government put this restrictions on us, which, some of it was rightfully so, but I couldn't get that person-to-person connection anymore because I was so worried about what I was supposed to say, because I had to say my mortgage license number, and they would have these secret shoppers. And if I didn't say my mortgage license number, I could get in trouble. And if I missed it too many times, I could get fired. So I'm not worried about what the client actually wanted. I'm trying to think about, did I say this? Did I say this? So I lost that luster. And I would say about 6 years ago, there was this motivational speaker that came to talk to our sales team, and the person just blew me away. The guy was just awesome. So I went up to him after the presentation. I said, "Wow, you are awesome," and just picked his brain on how he got into what he got into. And I'm thinking, well, what if I went into that? Coaching, huh? Coaching. So I got my coaching certificate, and I put it out in the universe that I wanted to be a mindset coach. And I realized that I had to make some financial changes because, I was making great money as a mortgage loan officer. But when you start your own business, as I tell a lot of people, you're going to lose money before you make money. So, you got to have some other realms of income to make it work. So I've made those changes, and now I'm full-time as a coach, and I'm talking to you and having a great time.
And it's interesting, as a journey, as you're going through having that passion, and it's the way you combine your passion of helping others, but it's a purpose to it too. It's the helping other people, think positive because of the experiences you've gone through, and how grateful are people to you to be able to come out of this, this down mindset and be able to say, you know what, Paul was able to help me think more positively. Paul was able to help me just look at life, the outlook of life, a whole different way. And so and you're right. When it comes to entrepreneur, you can't just, expect to start right from the beginning, super successful. Now, that does happen, but a lot of entrepreneurs have to come up with a plan where you're transitioning, basically, right? You're transitioning from your 9 to 5 to doing business as a, as an owner. You're a business owner. So that journey shows you is really important of all the different aspect of entrepreneurship, of your journey, but really how your past, how you in your childhood became part of this journey that you're taking now. It's interesting how it all connected, but it's all for good, isn't it? It all helped out at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we talked about being vulnerable, I had to be vulnerable to share my story with my clients so that I'm relatable. I need to let them know where I came from, so they go, oh, you know what? He does know the struggle. He does know, what bullying and feels like. And this is what he did to overcome it. So he has the empathy for me because he understands where I'm coming from. So it's all about being vulnerable. If you want your clients to be vulnerable with you, you have to share vulnerability with them, so you guys connect on a higher level than just you're just being stone faced and not really showing any emotion or giving them any feedback on your life.
No, that's some great points that you've made, because a lot of times, even when a person is selecting a coach, they have to feel comfortable, right? You have to feel comfortable with your coach, and knowing that you're taking the time to be able to relate with their story, relate with with their journey have been themselves, that's going to make it easier for the relationship to help support the client in getting the results that they're looking for. Wow, that's fantastic. So let
I
me ask
can
you
I
this:
can
if
sum
you
up that word. I can sum up what you just said in one word: trust. They got to have trust in you.
they have to have not only the rapport, right, but
Hmm.
the trust. And
Hmm.
without the trust, you're not going to get the vulnerability from that client, are you? Yeah,
No.
yeah, that's huge. So what inspires you every day? What, you being a coach, you're helping others, you really got the aha moment of how you can really take your experience, your past, and be able to help someone else. What inspires you every single day?
Well, that's a tough question, but I can say that I try not to take things for granted. Uh, you
Mm,
know, I could be very successful today, but that doesn't mean I'll be successful tomorrow. So, I've had some people interview me and said, "Is there a ace in the hole thing that you say your client to help them?" And to be honest with you, no, I don't have an ace in the hole thing that I say to a client to help them, because every client's different. If I have that ace in the hole thing that I say, then I'm not really listening to the client. I just, oh, this is what I normally say when somebody says this. That's not really plugging in. You got to really
mm,
dive in and being present with your client every single time you have a conversation with them, because you're doing them a disservice if you have this ace in the hole
type of
thing that
solution.
solution every time. Yeah, I mean, there's things that with experience as a coach that you've dealt with before that's going to help you, but everything is even still slightly different, and you need to listen to what your client's actually saying to you before
Mm.
you start coming up with some sort of solution for them.